Hello, welcome to another episode of the Sound of Connection podcast. Today, I'm really excited. I speak with Aleksander Kozmič, a multi-instrumentalist, an alchemist of the voice, and a great human being. And he's mostly known for his virtuoso guitar playing and also the very powerful emotion he transports with his voice and with his presence on stage. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, so excited to have this conversation with you. Maybe to start off with, I would like to ask you a little bit about your history, your background. Who shaped you the most musically, and what was the sound of your childhood? Did you grow up with music? How did you end up being a musician?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, we have a saying in Slovenia, glasba mi je bila podeljena v zibelko. It's like the music was brought into my baby bed. I don't know how you call it. You know, when you put baby in this
Into
special crib. Yeah. So the music was in my crib because my mom was she was a singer and she sang always, and always was music at our home, more like this Balkan music. So so since childhood I was surrounded by music, and music was for me very natural. Uh, so at the age of, I don't know, I think 8 or 9, my mom bought me this first small keyboard, this, keyboard, which was actually in tune, but it has just one scale. So I was playing with this, and then once I think I was 10, I went to a neighbor for a birthday celebration, and there was a guitar. And I took this guitar, and because from piano I already know some notes and something, and then I improvised Happy Birthday melody on the guitar, first time in my life. So I improvised the, ta, 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 and somehow I found it. And the mother from my friend that had the birthday, she like looked at me and she said like, "Wow, this is your first time you're playing guitar?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she's like, "Wow, you're such a natural talent." And she gave me this guitar.
Wow.
So and then I was, of course, like really, really happy. And after a while, then my mom bought me my own guitar. That was, I think, when I was 12. I think I got my first guitar. Yeah. So this is how it started. Yeah, with the guitar.
Great. And was there a lot of folk music around you when you started? Like, was music a living thing where you grew up, or was it just because you had musical parents?
Yeah, music was for me. Music was very important. Yeah, that was. I mean, there was concerts all the time, and because I had such friends that we always gathered and play guitar and sing in a circle. Not in this hippie way, but we play at that time more like punk and metal, and at the times of Nirvana and Metallica and this. So music was, I mean, definitely was very important, like a subculture, because at that time, because you as a child, you identified with some sort of style, and then this really gave you some motivation and power to live, because as a teenager you had hard times and with the parents and with the system, and then the music was somehow the only source of understanding your emotions, and this is
Yeah.
how you identify with it, and for me it was very, very important at that time.
What was the way you actually learned music? Because I'm always interested in, for example, I grew up in Germany, and the way most people learn in Germany is through an institutionalized process. So you go to music school, but I also learned during my career, during like meeting so many musicians, that this is not the only way how to learn music. So I'm just really interested about your journey. How did
Yeah.
you learn music, and how did you get to the mastery that you are now? What was that journey?
Yes, it was a journey. Yeah. Yes, it's true. School gives you this motivation and discipline that you finish something. But me personally, I had so much motivation and so much love towards guitar and music that I just played every day. I just played, and by listening. So I listened the music and try to copy it. So at the beginning, just few people showed me the chords and stuff, but then I just played. I just played, and listened. So I was learning by listening, and traveling. I traveled a lot. So when I was young, I was like 20 years old. I went already to Australia and then to Africa, to Sahara Desert. So meet a lot of different perspective and a lot of high level musicians, especially in Australia, in Melbourne. There was like these musicians from Cuba and from Spain, and then you're like, wow. And then you're like, yeah, I want to play like this one day. But I never went to school. I was just like traveling and listening. That was my main teacher at the young age. But after a while, then I start to practice. When I start to record in studio, then I realized that just the feeling and the spirit is not enough. And because the studio needs precision and details. When I started to record albums, then I start to also practice and seriously practice every day with a metronome. So it took a lot of discipline. So basically, for 10 years, I was just playing, and the all what is considered like practice or structure was like for me like no way. But then you grow a little bit and you see that when you listen to a musician like, I don't know, Bobby McFerrin, Richard Bona, and this, when they are like technically like unbelievable and still sing with such a feeling that is mesmerizing and comes directly from their soul. So then I decided that, yeah, I will also start to practice.
This is so interesting because for me, it's kind of a journey that I'm on also to explore. Because a lot of musicians, they describe to me the path that you went on, to first have the joy of playing music and just exploring and just being motivated by just playing.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot of musicians that grew up in Germany, in more Western cultures, that like, for example, my way of learning was first I had to learn how to read notes. And it was such an abstract way of learning. And I don't know, you probably know Victor Wooten, the amazing bass player. And
I'm
he has this amazing talk. I love his talk. It's music as a language.
I listen to it a lot of times.
This picture just says it all. It's like as if we put a baby in a private room with a book and say, you can only come out when you can read the book, then you're allowed to talk to the professional speakers, because then you have enough standards so the professionals will talk to
Exactly.
you. It's such an
Yes.
absurd way of looking at it. And when you translate it to music, all of a sudden it becomes so clear, like why there is such a mismatch. And at the same time, I'm very happy that I can read music, but somehow I feel the path of being in joy first and then learning discipline and structure somehow seems to be more natural. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, it is, especially for little kids, because I know many musicians that yeah, that they are playing in orchestra and they are like fabulous musicians, but they just for them this is a regular job. So they cannot anymore feel the joy with the music because it's just too structured. And this is sad. I think the music school should learn also how to improvise, how to exactly what Victor Wooten is teaching all the time. Every school should have in a program 1 semester of Victor Wooten on at least 1 hour. And he says it very well. The
Yeah.
baby is all the time jamming with professionals.
Yes.
and he is learning very quickly. You don't need to like force him, and this is how this early stage music should be. So, and now I'm also teaching now, and I have few students that are, one is 8, one is 9, and one is 11. So I also talked with their mothers that I will try to give them as much as possible the technique, but I think at least 15 minutes of hour should be just their free expression. You know, not me all the time correcting them and you're wrong, you need to practice more. So they are really agreeing, and for now is going really well. So I'm like trying to keep this balance now with what I've learned. The discipline is important, and also the joy to music, to keep the joy of music to a child, which is somehow the future of teaching. I think should be somehow like this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's really, yeah, I see it much the same way. Also, I feel like you're also an improvising musician. And
Yeah.
what I find with this way of approaching music, when you improvise, you have to let go of the idea of making mistakes. Like you can't be afraid to make mistakes. And I feel a lot of the time, musicians are concerned with making mistakes, being afraid. At least this was the way I learned music. It was all about not making mistakes, and it was a huge limitation on my creative process, because as soon as we're afraid to make mistakes,
Yes.
it's such a limited box. Can you
Yes.
talk a little bit about that?
Yes, exactly like you said, because what means improvisation? Improvisation means just don't stop. So just don't stop and just keep on going. And why we don't keep on going? Because of the voices, especially in vocal improvisation, is very difficult. And I see also when I have workshops, the people, it's very difficult for people to improvise because they start to and immediately the mind starts to click in, like you are sound out of tune, it's not good, it's boring, whatever. So this is it's a difficult process for me. Improvisation is very natural because this is how is my base. I was just playing, and this how the Victor Wooten explained. He was just jamming with his brothers. I was somehow living this in my youth. So for me, improvisation is very, very natural. So because I just you are staying on one chord, and you are just keep on going, and you don't stop. And whatever happens, yeah, you don't stop. That's important, and you must not think. So how this is very difficult for somebody that is learn music by notes because he's trained like this. So I would suggest to everybody to hang out more, maybe with some African musician, or go to travel a little bit more to these parts of the world, Brazil, South America, where they can modally play one song for 1 hour and the music becomes like a trance and like a pure joy, you know. This I learned in Sahara Desert, when it was like they have nothing there, and they are on one chord, and they are the most happy people I ever met in my life, you know, just on one chord, because it's another state of mind. The music, the musically is going. You are going more into like the music is become like a trance when you are really go into mood. You are not mathematically, oh, which scale I'm gonna play. Oh, he changed the chord. Oh, I'm still playing the minor. I should change. You know, so all this in improvisation you should lose. You should practice, but when you improvise, you should just spontaneously play whatever it comes. And even if you make mistakes, also Victor Wooten very, very well says always, if you practice at home, prepare what you're gonna do when you're gonna make mistake, because if you make wrong notes, nobody will know, you know. So it's just how about you get out of this uh, mistake. If you make it juicy, is not a mistake. And what I learned also with performing, that usually people don't know the arrangement, you know, of the song. So if you have in a public producer or a musician or a classical trained musician, okay, of course they will hear every detail. But majority of people, when you are on stage and you, for example, you forget to play the chord or you make mistake, nobody knows. So
Yeah.
that's why when you make a mistake, just keep on smiling and just keep on going. Because nobody
Yeah.
knows the arrangement, and
Yeah.
nobody will know that this was a mistake unless you do the face like, or you look the band member like, ah, shit. The last time I played with one friend and I made one obvious mistake, and he like smiled, like he make like a bit like, oh, he smiled, and then I was like, man, you don't do this on stage. You
Yeah.
don't smile if I made a mistake, like, like he was literally smiling, like, he made a mistake. So this is not the way. The way is that with a musician on stage, if somebody makes mistake, you make it like nothing happened, or and then also you feel more natural to improvise because you are not worried. So that's the important. For me, big shift was in when I was in a concert of Vicente Amigo. So he's one of the best flamenco guitarists on the world. And he was playing, he played in Križanke, Slovenia, and he played this, virtuosic solo. And at the high point, he's one tone, he like made like clack. It was like a small mistake. And then he just smiled and play on. And from that
Yeah.
on, I was like, if Vicente Amigo can make mistake, also I can make mistake. So we are sometimes too harsh on ourselves. So we should not be afraid. We are just humans. And if you the whole concert you did great, and if you made one mistake, you shouldn't be worried about it.
Yeah.
That's
And nobody dies. It's just music. Like,
of
it's not
course.
as if our life
Yeah,
depended on it.
of course,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Great. So, I don't know. I find at the moment it's quite obvious that we're living in really challenging times. Like, it seems to me that the old system is dying and the new system hasn't been born yet. So, and we're experiencing these transitions at the moment. And I have a theory, and I'm not sure if it's true, my theory, and I really would like to have this conversation with other artists, that as artists, because we are exposed to a lot of uncertainty anyway, maybe we have better skills to deal with these times of transitions. I'm not sure. Can you speak to this? Does this resonate at all with you?
Yeah, of course. You mean like the these conditions that are in the world, and yeah. I mean, definitely, of course, because every artist somehow is living in his emotional bubble, which is very important for him. And sometimes, I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I really need, like, if I have time, 1 week of just please no internet and just music, so I fall in the process, and I really don't know what is going on out of the world. I don't know. Somebody told me there are holidays next week, and I was like, holidays, okay. I didn't even know, because you are so much in your and especially if you are recording an album or a song, you have to be so devoted to this song, to these lyrics, that they rise and they grow, that you don't want any drama, especially system drama, and that they are causing it like with like playing chess with us. And they are and when you see this, how people are divided easily, it's very, very, very sad and tragic. So yeah, as a musicians, I think we have this predisposition to take these situations. I think different. Sometimes it depends of the artist also. For example, when was this lockdown, I was like, for me it was like difficult because there was no concerts, but I transformed my room into studio, and I recorded the whole album. So I was
Yeah.
in the journey of music. So so every time I turned on the internet, I was like, okay, okay. So yeah, music is especially music is like a magic tool of that can transform many, 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 many hard emotions in this time. Just we are not aware of it, because the music become today very like a fast food. It's very, very similar like fast food. Everything has to be fast, not song more than 3 minutes. Ads has to be half minute. If you make a song that is 10 minutes, producer will say, you need to make it, shorter. And this is not music. This is just, people that want to sell music and make money of it. Music is different.
Yeah. So if this is not music, what do you think music? What role does music play in a healthy society? What is necessary for music to come back to playing a significant role?
Yes, that's a very very good question because uh, music is, every tradition, every culture on the world has its own music, and the people identify with this music, and then gives you some kind of a natural existence, and you don't have to worry about who you are, actually why where I am. No, we are here on this earth. This is our ancestor music, even if you don't like it. There's, for example, there is this Slovenian traditional music, which I'm not a big fan of it, but I really accept it. Now I'm accepting it more and more, and I see makes people happy. And it's important that it's going on, because nowadays everything is going digital and Americanized. I'm more against Americanization and this capitalism that is coming than this cheesy, traditional folk music. I'm more in support of traditional folk music that it stays where it is, how it is, and keep it going. So this is the first thing, the music that we should respect traditional folk music, and the music should be valued like it used to be. In some places on this planet, there is still, you get like this. For example, in when I was in Uzbekistan, in Africa, usually for us, third world country, poor countries, they're not poor, they are the richest. But this is different topic. The music is valued as you are a doctor or a lawyer, if you are a musician. And for example, in Uzbekistan, we were accepted, like, wow, it was such an opening. And
Wow.
they in Uzbekistan, for example, they didn't know about street music, that this exists. They were like, what is this? And they were like, musician playing on the street. They're like, they don't know what is this, because if you are a musician, you have to be very good, and they're like really amazing musicians, and you play concerts, you play wedding, you play events, and you are paid valuable, and people really respect you because you are a musician, you know and the music, like the role today it has musician now, because everybody now can be musician. You don't have to be basically today a good musician to become famous. That's the fact. If you have, for example, a lot of money, but let's say rich parents, you can produce the shit. I don't know how censored this show is, but out of it, and you can have a great product, and you can become successful. So that's for me sad. So I think the music should have some boundaries and limits, and should be respected. And the how do we achieve this question? Because we are somehow dragged into this wheel of capitalism and America's concept of music, which I'm really against for. I don't know if I can say this here, but I will say it, because this Spotify and these things, this we should ban. From my perspective, we should, all the artists should go down from this platform, and music should be protected, and the money from the albums should get, artists should get this money, not the big companies and the producer. So unless this is going to change, nothing will change, and the musicians, we will be slave of this music industry, and we will suffer the most, like on this planet is going on. The people, the average people are taking the the hard part in every crisis situation. So the music is not the point. Now the conclusion, the music is not valued and should be put on this pedestal again. That music is something that it's not for granted, because
Yeah.
music is not for granted. YouTube, you just write, you have all the albums, but can possibly imagine who will buy the album from an artist? Nobody. You have YouTube, you have Spotify. And we are spending so much whole life practicing and playing music and recording album. People are not aware how much time and effort takes to record a studio album of original music. They're not aware. You know, they're
Yeah.
just click 10 euros per month. Yeah, I have it. But the work that is behind there is not valued. So musicians should step together and boycott all the world companies. But probably this will not happen. But I'm if I'm doing this, so if I'm the only one, I will be satisfied no matter what.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, as you were speaking, I was thinking one thing that I really love about music is that you can't fake it. I mean, you can fake success. You can be a really bad musician, and by having a huge production,
Yeah,
you can be successful. Okay. But you can't fake to know your shit as a musician.
exactly.
So it's really like either you can or you can't.
Live performance then says it all. Yeah.
It's a very honest profession, I think, in that way, when we talk about live music. And I wonder if live music should have a different value again in society. Because I wonder, like, when did this happen, this devaluation of music? And it probably started somewhere when we started to record music and it became easier and easier. And as you said, you know, in other societies, musicians are considered like top status, like lawyers and doctors in our society.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's something that is really touching my heart at the moment, is like this whole development that we have with AI and how it affects musicians. And I wonder if we will witness a movement where we go back to actually meeting in person and playing, and where it's actually good for artists because the
Yeah.
live moment will gain in value. I don't know. What do you think?
I think definitely yes. Yeah, live music will always stay. Not sure about China, because they are so programmed there that they are already. I think they would be even happy when they have like a avatar of your famous star there playing, and everybody be happy with the phones recording. You know, so for that part of the world, I cannot speak. But
You
for
went
the
to China on tour a couple of years
yeah,
ago, no?
we were with the trio. We were a few times on tour there, and lovely country, but the robotization is on some different levels. So for that part of the world, i.e., development, I'm not sure what's going to happen. But for the rest of the world, especially here on Balkan and Europe and all the rest of the world, how I see the live music is the AI just cannot take it, because the how I because I was thinking a lot about it, and when I also listen, because now on YouTube you can see AI music, and suddenly you can. I was listening the reggae track, you know, it said something like old track from 70s, and I listened in the car, and then somehow the whole was all the time the same songs, and then I check who is this artist, you know, but I was actually vibing with it, you know, and then I check and it was IE, you know. So now already on a YouTube they give you the sneaky IE music that you listen, and probably this is happening on Spotify also. IE music, the creators are doing, people are listening, they are again earning a lot of money, you know. So it's quite, for me, it's very 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 mafioso capitalistic, this IE considering the music, but the IE music cannot give you shivers, cannot split you on half the vocal, you know, like the real vocal in a live music. When you go And like you sometimes, I don't know, you have a hard day, hard period of time, and then you go to a concert and you literally you cry, and it's like because the emotions were so strong, and this digital cannot do to you. So that's why I have big hope for live music, because these live emotions cannot be produced, and live concerts will stay. Uh, for a long time. I think this is something that will that will stay for sure. But the production in this IE is developing very strong. My friend sent me last time the one track of my song. He put it in some advanced IE sumo, how it's called, and it made the whole house song out of it. And I was like, wow, man, you are taking my job right now, with the one button. Even though I cannot say, how thrilled I am, I said it's interesting, but so I believe in live music that will stay strong for a long time. I believe this.
You talked about identity and the role music plays for identity in cultures. And I'm really interested because, like, again, I come from a culture in Germany where we have a very complicated relationship to our folk music. And you mentioned Slovenian folk music, which doesn't really touch your heart, but at the same time, you think it's valuable. And I want to talk a little bit about this. In Germany, there is the theory that our complex relationship with folk music is because of the war. Now, you come from the Balkans and you also had wars, and I don't see the same complication in the Balkans with your folk music. What,
Wow. What do you mean complications? Like,
I mean, for example, in Germany, there is a lot of people who would say, well, folk music was used as propaganda during the Second World War, and
wow.
practically in German society, there is no alive folk music. It's starting slowly, but
Oh,
I
interesting.
certainly grew up with parents who said, folk music is strongly associated with the war, and it always has this kind of touch of don't go there.
Interesting. Oh, wow. That's depends also probably of the culture. Yeah, interesting. I didn't know that. Oh,
And
I
how
mean,
is this in the Balkans? I mean, I know. Did you grow up in Slovenia, or where in the Balkans did you?
yeah, in Slovenia, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, in the Balkans, all the songs are about her and him, about the desperate love. Most of the songs are about love. So it's somehow the Balkan music is mostly about the land, love to land, or broken heart, or this hard emotions, especially if you have sevdah, like a traditional Bosnian music, is like a similar like a flamenco, like a pathos, and you release through music. So no, in Balkan have very different music. Is like I don't know. Just speaking from my perspective, we meet in 1st of May with the whole family, because they are like separated now, especially because of the war in 90s. Some of the relatives, they are living in Germany. Some of them, they went to Serbia. Some are in Croatia. And then when we meet all together, then they sing, everybody in choir, like a big choir, in a harmony. And this is like really beautiful. It's such a spontaneous moment that and it is beautiful, and it's really connected people. So the music has like a this role of joining together people. And my grandfather of my mom, she is a singer. He was playing this goosely, it's called. It's like a look like a how we call it, Bosnian violin. Montenegro also has it.
Uh-huh.
Like a just like a looks like a bit like a Mongolian. It has just one string. You, and then he sang over it. So my father was a musician, so yeah, probably I have heritage from uh, from him. But yeah, music was always something to make you feel good and happy. Also, this probably depends of the culture, because like if when my mother's mom died, then she was like she didn't sing for 1 year because she was
Mm,
grieved, you know?
yeah. You said you talked a lot about like the ancestry and tapping into the ancestry, and I also feel like music is such an integral part of humanity. I mean,
Yes,
I'm not sure. It feels like music and humanity is really, it belongs together, and it has a strong role. And I also feel that this role is being taken away more and more, and it also has to do with everything we talked about like all these like big companies using music. And I feel one answer to all the craziness that is happening at the moment is to bring music back to the center of society. I wonder.
yes, yes, definitely. Definitely, because music is joining people together, is not dividing. And this is very, very, very important what you said. Of course it is. And we also have to learn to accept the different kinds of music and different kinds of traditions and nationalism. This is the first. Once we will do that, it will drastically can change everything. Because in again Uzbekistan was such a strong experience for me. We were there playing on Shart Tanari festival, and there were people from the politically, especially now, very, very, very danger zone. Like there were people from America, Iran, Israel, Ukraine, Russia, all the musicians from around the world, but we were jamming
Yeah.
all together. This was, I think, 10 years ago. So we were jamming all together. And it was, I will never forget about this, how happy we were all together. And music bring us together. Politicians want to divide us. So how to do this what you said, to bring music again in the center, is very important. We would need like a strong ambassadors to carry this idea and this importance of music. And yeah, I'm whatever will happen in this way, I will be definitely for it, and joining as much as I can.
I know that you're doing this already, like you're giving voice workshops with people and like facilitating people to sing.
Yes,
Can you
yeah,
talk a little bit about that and what you do there?
yeah. It was this basically happened also a bit spontaneous. I played on one festival, and they said, "Hey, we heard your voice. You sing amazing. Can you make a vocal workshop there?" Basically, till that time, I never had a serious workshop. Maybe something, but like a serious workshop on a festival, I didn't have. But I just said, "Okay, no problem. I will do it." And then somehow this festival made me prepare something, and I prepare, and then people really liked it. And then because the people really asked me, "Hey, when is going to be the next workshop?" And then I was like, maybe I should really do it, because people like it. So I start to do it, and now I'm doing it regularly every month, and became really amazing, because the workshop started with a 1 hour of technique, the breathing and this, and 1 hour of singing. And now it came to 15 minutes, 20 minutes technique, and more spontaneous singing and intuitive singing and improvising. And it's very, very nice, because people come to me that also are not singers, not musicians, and then we somehow with in a circle, and with the music, you make such an atmosphere that even non-musician can improvise and can feel the groove of the music. and which is the essence of the music. So we are doing very simple vocal exercises that everybody can do, and also very much inspired by Bobby McFerrin with this circle songs, you know, with improvisation. This we also do a lot, and I see people really like it because most of the people have problem with the singing, how to release their voice. They don't know how to release it. They have a block here, and usually problem is with the breathing and with a lot of times also with the emotions. You know, if you have struggling with the hard emotions in, then the voice also will not come out. So I'm also helping them to release this out. So somehow is it become very nice journey, this vocal workshop. I hope once we can do it at
Yes,
your place in Germany.
I would love to. Can you speak a little bit about more about this, the connection of the human voice to trauma and emotion?
For me, it made for me it was like my how you call it, the rite of passage, or how we call
Yeah,
this. Um, I had a very difficult period of my life. I broke up with a girlfriend after 3 years, and was very difficult. And I went to Ukraine on one festival. It was Rainbow Festival. At that time, it's very different than nowadays. But it was like basically you are 1 month in a wildness without electricity, just water and just people. And they were. I hang out a lot with these Ukrainian singers. The choir of the singers was 6 or 7 of them, and they sing this amazing music. And I sang with them, and then there I said to them like, Please teach me this, how you do this. You know, I want to learn. You know." And then they give me some lessons, and I was like really inspired by them. And then around the fire every night, we were drinking tea and singing. So basically every day by the fire singing after the festival, I came home like I was reborn, you know. So I didn't have, so it was so much went through me just with the singing, you know. So I had so much, you know, like it's a difficult pain, broken heart, everything. But I learned that actually with the voice I could sing out all the emotions, and I did. And then I realized, wow, what a power has voice. And since then I started to sing more this not this more like a tribal voice, Balkanic tribal, this throat singing. Which they use in Bulgaria, in Serbia, in Persia, in Iran. They have it a bit different. It's a bit different, but it's also this throat, but I really like it there. Uh, so somehow this was somehow transformation with the voice, and then since then, I'm practicing the voice, and I'm like taking gentle care of it because I know how what magic it has
yeah,
actually. It is not just now society you get drunk and then you sing few famous song and then it makes you feel good. No, the voice has a really deeper transformational role in our body if you know how to use it.
yeah. And I mean, every time I hear you sing on stage, like I get goosebumps. It's such a strong experience when you release that voice. It's really like, wow, it's very inspiring and has huge power, huge emotional power. Um,
Thank you.
do you find that artists have a duty to respond to the world and what's happening in the world, or is their only duty to just do art and r- like um, preserve the beauty of art?
It's a very good question. For a time, I was thinking that yeah, I should be only in my bubble and not involved in politics. because we are carrier of music and we should bring people together. But now what is happening on the world is just absurdly crazy, and I cannot believe this is happening in 21st century. So I think that musicians, we should have role to speak about it, to say it, because especially the famous musician, which have the big power on the world. You know, if they would cancel the concerts, if I don't know, if Ronaldo would stop playing football, if the world doesn't stop, what would happen?
Yeah.
This is also important, not just us musicians that are like the regular musicians, but I think it is important, but also to not be a selective activist. This is what I found nowadays. I don't like so much. I will not speak about names, but selective activism I don't like. One people they go into one sphere. Oh, there is trouble. Are we gonna support this? And on the other hand, the people are also destroyed, dying, war is there, and nobody talks about it. Why? Because again of the America and of this big propaganda. So if for me is like if we speak about, we should speak about all injustice, what is going on in the world. And just 1 week ago, we have in Slovenia ambassador for peace, like Matthias Solce. He's an
Yeah.
amazing human being. What he did, I was invited on one concert, end of the Couch Festival. Just he said if I could sing something, and he organized the live concert with some musician from Gaza, and we had like a live interaction with them, and it was amazing. I cannot describe. They were there, and we were jamming together. So they were singing from there, and we from here. So I had one
Wow.
solo part in there, was really 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 special feeling that you can, after all these people went through, but not now, they went through 10 years, 20 years again. This is inhumanities, whatever is happening. And he managed to connect this what is power with music, and I believe we need much more of this on also different parts of world. I will be really really happy to share with and support and unite people with music. And but first I think we should accept, reunite, and change the way we look with our neighbor. I saw usually we want to save the world, we want to save the world, and then we are in fight with our partner, with our kids, and with our neighbor. And we hate our neighbor because he's right wing. So first wing, we say pometi pred našim pred pragom, like clean after your uh, carpet in front of the house, and then go to save the world. So now as I'm like, if people will invite me to play for something, I will definitely do it. But I would like to really support people, and this not to be selective activists, because in Slovenia I see there are groups who are supporting just one part of the world and blinding their face with the other part of the world, and this hurts me. So that's why I don't want to take sides. I'm saying we should give credit to all the people, all the inhumanity that is happening on this planet, especially in Africa. Nobody in media talks about Africa. For example, 15 years ago, there was in Slovenia was one journalist, Tomo Križnar. If there wouldn't be for him, I wouldn't know that in Sudan is happening a massacre. Nobody knows about this, because he went there and record with the camera, and he make documentary about the water, and it was like, I was just wow. So this I would wish more, that the activism of people who are caring for would turn from selected activism to actual activism. If you are activist, then be for everybody. That's my point. And the music, I think, it has strong lore, especially the famous musician. I know they don't want to take sides, but they can at least say be anti-war, anti this, and we can support at least people with this, and with these live actions, what Mattia did, that was incredible. I wish something more of this with the people, with the musician, with the actual people, not the news and propaganda, and try to connect somehow and help at least emotionally, because this burden of war is such strong, and nobody. We are from Balkans, so we experience war like very very little, but I experienced from my ancestors the stories. So my cousin and my grandfather, they were all in war. They were like a serious war, and the war is a pure devil, and nobody knows about this. And everybody that are commenting and doing stuff from the couch, they are not aware what a big devil is this. So we should be really against this in all terms, and not taking sides. Oh, I'm for this one. I hope he will win. No, this is all evil. All should be banned, and the music the music has power to join this. And I'm happy that I'm a musician, and if I could help, I will definitely will in future.
Yeah, it's really like I feel much the same in terms of I think music really has the power to connect us through our shared humanity. And
Yeah.
there's no like it's really about the shared humanity. There's no sides. We're all human.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's also one thing that kind of connects back a little bit to what you were speaking about, trauma and the voice. And I feel war and the violence on this planet is also happening to the extent it's happening at the moment because we're all not dealing with our own emotions and our own traumas, because it's such complicated feelings in each one of us. And if I can't even, as you said, if I can't even be kind to my neighbor or to myself, like, I mean, this is where this is the seed of war. This is right where it starts. I think like the biggest act of revolution and peace at the moment, I think, is to look at your own trauma and heal it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. This is the first step, what to do. And then in this, join together, and join in small communities, small groups, work together, help each other, help your neighbor, even if he listens crappy music, even if he is voting for the other guy, because in future we are all in this together.
Yeah.
So it matters the как se reče, uh, odnosi, the relations. All that will count at the end is relations, and what we give to this world. So start with dealing with of course with the trauma, and if you have in a politics some people who are obviously mentally for some different kind of institution that politics, then how we can expect the world is to be. So yeah, yeah. And I think Slovenia showed a lot of in difficult times, showed a lot of that we can stick together in harsh times. For example, when there was a floods, when there was something like serious things happening, Slovenia showed that can people can come together and help each other. And this is, I think, the future, what we need to help each other and stand with each other, and because that's how we are strongest, not with the ideology on Facebook and commenting, uh, and that's how then we can be progress and development. And then the politics, they are afraid of the most of this, that people are happy and strong together. They don't want this. They don't want this. I think all the world is just seeing, just dividing us. You are this, you are this. It's not. It's not. We are not. They just made up this story so we can be easily manipulated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've talked a lot about um, the problematic things that are happening at the moment. But what is one thing that you feel hopeful and excited about in recent times?
Well, I'm excited about my new. At the moment, I'm doing one just song. I'm gonna finish it till 21st. Is a day of Earth, the National Day of Earth. So I'm doing the Hvalnica Zemlji. It's called like a gratitude to the Earth. So I'm doing the song, and I'm gonna finish this. I hopefully, and I upgrade my studio. You know, I have a home studio, so I upgrade my equipment, buy new speakers, new sound card, new microphone. So I'm excited that my production will sound better, and a few new things are opening with the music. I'm also playing lately more this more sound journeys and more music as a meditation and more and we I get to meet like wonderful musicians, and so I hope if these projects will open, I hope it will be very nice because for me means good career, also money wise, which is important.
Yes.
And I somehow, because since ever I felt music as a medicine since I was little, you know, because I wanted to become a doctor, and and I went on a medical school, but then I decided for music. So music was since ever for me healing, but now become this commercialized and it's taking advantage of. But so I'm looking forward for this project. I have some new festival going on, and
It's interesting that you mention music as medicine. And I know you would probably never say this about yourself, but it's certainly something that I've experienced when I see you live, is that there is the way you play music and the way you sing, it's like a medicine man. I know you
no,
wouldn't probably say this yourself, but I think your career choice,
thank you.
the healing came through there anyway.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your words. It's definitely how I feel it. I never called
Yeah.
myself any names, but music was for me always uh, deep. It has deep meaning since childhood. So this is also what I give on stage. All myself with every cell of my body. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Where can people find you online? And also, where can people book you? I know you facilitate amazing voice workshops for all kinds of people, not only musicians. And also, you can be booked for sound journeys, and it's something that I experience is more and more coming and needed. Um, and I know you do an amazing job. So, where can people book you, and where can people find out about your current projects? What are you working on?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, on Instagram, because a lot of people use, I am Kozmič Aleksander. Then I have website like aleksanderkozmič.com. On Facebook, I'm Aleksander Kozmič Music. And I have this sound journey is my project with other friend. We started Cosmic Harmony is called. So they can book a solo sound journey. We have also duo with a handpan or with an amazing singer from Croatia, Nina Kraljic. She's just beyond. The last time we did a concert was with Nina Kraljic, Ivan Judas, and Pepe Danza, one amazing musician from Uruguay. So we have also quartet sound journey possibility. And but if you type Cosmic Harmony on Instagram or Kozmič Aleksander, you can contact me there or on Facebook on Messenger. And yeah, I'm happy to come. any part of the Europe, even the world. If the opportunity will be big, I can come.
Yeah, and we'll put all those links in the notes. What are you working on at the moment? What is your current creative project?
Well, yeah, a lot of editing. Plan is to make an album. The name of the album will be probably "Comet Is Coming," because the song uh, that I composed and I really like. The name of the song "Comet Is Coming," and it's gonna be more because previous album was "Mantra of the Soul," was recorded in the lockdown, was more like a meditation and mantras. I recorded my own mantras. This one will be more with the lyrics, but again will be more like sound journey. I'm more like into this energy now. The music should be listened and like you watch the movie, close your eyes and listen and fall into it. Don't care about this 2 minute song pop production. It's just maybe one song I will make just for shits and giggles, like 2 minutes and a half for the end, like pop song. But mostly I want to do music that gives you something and carries you somewhere. When you listen, last time we listened on a vinyl, the intro of Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. My God. My God. It's like, and I'm like, wow, people are not making music like this anymore. But you just go into some different world, and this music has this power. So with this new album, I will try to do something like this, but it's in progress there, recording progress.
Great, sounds exciting. So we're coming slowly to the end of our podcast. I want to finish with a visionary question. I mean, I believe we're all creators. We're all creating to some extent all the time. So if you have the power of creation, what would you want to see more of in the world as a musician, as an artist, but also as a human being? If you describe 5 years from now and you see the world is different, more in the way that you imagine, what would you see?
If I would have power to change it.
You do have the power to change it. What do you see?
Well, I see I see I see beach, people having fun. I see no telephones, no smartphones, like smartphones forbidden in public, smartphones forbidden in concerts, smartphones used only for work or for certain occasions. Uh, I see people relaxed. The tempo, like in south of Spain or Dalmatia, when you go for a coffee and you wait for 15 minutes and you don't get obsessed about it, but you enjoy the moment and you chat with the neighbor and you talk. So I think the first thing what I see, no smartphones, because they're taking away this essential communication with the people what we have. More and more I see go out and see couples sit behind the table and like each of them they're looking at their phone, and I'm like, wow, what's happening, and not just the whole time of the conversation. So I think this is becoming the fail for humanity. So first thing I see this. And then I see the musicians paid get paid very, 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 very good, and they could really live good life from it, and have family, and they could actually afford a house, buy a house. And not only musicians, all the people who are working hard. So there are a lot of people, also middle class, low class, who are working in factory very hard whole day. So I see them earning a lot of money, enough money to take care for the family and not to worry about the bills. So yeah, I see people working and getting a lot of money for this and not struggling for life, just to live good life and enjoy music and love and the nature.
Alex, thank you so much for being on the podcast and hope to continue this conversation.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.